So what do I say?
Who are you racing with?
I'm Tony McMahon. I'm racing with Respect, the charity for intellectually challenged people in Dublin.
Raising a bit of money.
A few bob, yeah. So all donations greatly accepted.
In 1129, King Turlough O'Connor built a wooden castle on this site in Athlone. In 1210, King John of England insisted that a stone castle be built, and that they built this bridge as well. Since then, there have been many battles on this site, but tonight there are no muskets, no cannon, but there are going to be battles fought between triathletes as part of the TriFest that's being held in Athlone. Welcome to TriAthlone. This TriFest is made up of two events. The classic event, which was held earlier on this afternoon, and the elite event, which will be held in about half an hour's time. Before we go to the elite event, let's show you some highlights of what happened earlier on today. I'm standing here in the transition area of TriAthlone. It's quite empty at the moment, but over the next 2 to 3 hours, it'll fill up with 1,400 bikes. This is a sprint distance triathlon, so it's a 750 metre swim, 20 kilometre bike, and 5k run.
Oh,
So then when you're taking it off, just
great.
okay.
Brilliant.
What's your plans for today? Have you any tactics?
Yes,
Yeah?
beat him. That's the only plan today.
I believe that the current is quite strong today.
Yeah, they've shortened the distance of the swim because of the strength of the current.
You looking forward to that?
No, because of the swim is where I built up my advantage, so it's a shorter distance. But
Gary, some would say that you're a well-known face in triathlon circles, and we're delighted to see you down at the triathlon.
Yeah.
You're in the 55 to 59, and some would say you're almost professional because you win a prize every week.
Yes, indeed.
Tell me, what got you into triathlon?
Well, I come from a rugby background and played rugby for many years, and then I stopped playing with my early 30s, and I missed the sort of crack, the atmosphere, and also keeping fit really, and motivation to keep fit. So I went down to what was the old Port of Ferry triathlon once to watch it, and I was maybe inspired to start and started training and learned to swim. I mean, I enjoy participating. The crack's good, and travelling all over Ireland. It's good fun, and it's a good way of seeing about the countryside as well.
Yeah.
Okay, I do get a few prizes. I mean, a few euros, whatever. But certainly don't make money out of it. I think I probably spend most of any winnings I get on beer after the race.
And you've heard, obviously, that triathlon has got the 2010 Europeans.
Yes, yeah.
Would you be down for that?
2010, 3 years, I'll be near retirement. I'll be able to train properly then. So
it's a special wetsuit purely for swimming. It's a lot different from wetsuits that you use for surfing or for sailing or anything like that. It's a lot thicker in the front, so you actually float higher in the water, less resistance, and in theory going faster. It's all a matter of just trying to get it off as quick as you can.
So the zip is at the back?
Yeah, the zip is at the back. You'll see a lot of people, as soon as they get out of the water, they start pulling the wetsuit off. It'll be down around their waist before they get. Once they get here, it's pull it off your legs and stuff like that.
Okay, Liam, you now have my life in your hands. We're on the route that belongs to Athlone Sub Aqua Club. We've trusted you with 1,400 souls today, and now I'm trusting you with mine. Tell me a bit about this boat.
Well, this is a Humber 7.5 destroyer. We're involved in a lot of search and recovery here on the river, and a lot of people will go missing, whatever, may have accidents, whatever, suicide.
And would that be regular, or?
It would be generally regular. It's been quiet, thankfully, for the last few years. We only had one recovery last year here in Athlone, so it's been quiet, thankfully. But there has been years there that we've had 7 or 8 call-outs in the 1 year.
Yeah. And where would your divers be placed on the route today?
Our divers are going to be placed, generally there'll be a boat down at the start, there'll be a boat just here at the AIB bank. We have 2 boats positioned here on both of these jetties, another one just between the jetty and the railway bridge, another boat just beyond the railway bridge, and then if you can see there's a sort of a green barge up there in the distance, there's another one, just that's the finish mark there, that's where another boat positioned there. And each of those boats will have a diver, a coxswain, a snorkeler, a lifeguard and a canoeist with them, all ready to respond in the event of someone getting into difficulty.
I would say that the participants should feel quite safe.
Yeah, well, hopefully we can provide enough cover to keep them safe. We've done it last year, as I said earlier, and we had no problems, thankfully, you know.
What other organisations are involved in water safety? It's not just Athlone Tobacco
No, it's
Club.
not just the Athlone Tobacco Club. Well, myself and Damien Mellett from the Athlone Tobacco Club are just coordinating safety, but we're also, Athlone Tobacco Club is working in conjunction with the Army Boat Division, the INI Kayak Association, Athlone Lifeguards, and the Athlone Water Sports Club. They're all involved here today, helping out.
Well, now that we've got the 2010 Europeans, so it's really important that the race goes well today.
Absolutely, yeah.
I must admit, I'm not very good on boats.
Are you nervous on them, yeah?
Well, no, I get seasick, but this is not so bad.
No,
you know?
you don't get seasick today, hopefully.
This is Katarina Baldinger, one of Ireland's best triathletes, who happens to come from Austria. What's your plans for today?
Well, try as best as I can, enjoy the race, try to get a good swim in. Swim is my weakest discipline, and enjoy the sunshine.
John, do you know where you're going when you come in with your bike?
You mentioned a good point there about the ladies' race, the ladies' elite race having to be cancelled.
Yeah.
What's happening with women in triathlon, especially at the top end?
I think it's very difficult. Like, as soon as you mention the word elite and very competitive, and it scares women off. It is hard to get a big amount of training in, which you need at a certain level. And I think, well, I really would hope that next year it's going to happen, and that more and more women enter the sport and enjoy the sport. And elite doesn't necessarily mean, it just means you're up there, you're trying a draft legal race, and you're enjoying yourself and you're giving the best. Now we all split up in age groups in the various different waves. And it's usually very, very, very good to have a women's wave at least, so you know where you are and you don't have to find the next woman in between the men.
There is a big push in Triathlon Ireland to get more women-only events and try and attract people. Is that being successful?
I think it's just starting off, and I think it's been very successful until now. I just heard that the next duathlon in the Phoenix Park in Dublin is going to be a women's only duathlon. I think that's the first time that is happening, and I have to say I'm excited about that. And
that's a bit of news for me, because I'm entered into that one. So
into the women's one.
I'll have to think about that.
These things, like wetsuit booties and their.
I am Aaron's mother, and Emmett is my cousin.
We're all comrades.
We travelled down from Dundalk, so this would be my third.
I've done one other one. So
Which one did you do?
Blackrock.
And what about yourself?
It's my first time, so I'm a bit
excellent.
nervy,
We crossed the line together in Blackrock, but I'd say he would have beat me if I'd let him go.
This is Brian Campbell, who's taking part in the elite race today, and he's just in here socialising in the early afternoon. Brian, I'm surprised to see you here in the afternoon, but obviously it's a social event. How are things for tonight?
Not too bad. Well, I've been here the last couple of days. We've been down camping, and the weather's been terrible, so hopefully it stays better today. But I'm not feeling too bad now. I was out there for a few weeks with bad ribs, but get back into it again, feeling quite good, so looking forward to it, yeah. I wouldn't say I was socialising at the minute either. I'm helping Jem with her stuff here. My girlfriend's doing the race as well.
Excellent. So you have her committed to it as well?
Yeah, so we're doing a bit of cheering as well now.
What's your plans for tonight?
I've never done this race before, so I have to check out the course before any plans really. But I believe the swim's short to 600 metres, but it's Sunday quite a strong current here, so it's still going to probably be about 10 minutes the same time anyway. So it's tactics come into it quite a bit in the bike actually when there's a lot of drafting, so it's a matter of just trying to stay up on the swim and hang on the bike, and then run's my strong point, so hopefully I can use a run course with its hills, which will suit me as well to sort of come through.
The elite race is very different from the classic race in that you can draft, and that is that once you get out of the water you can actually get into a group of cyclists and actually help each other, you know, and get a bit of a shelter from the wind. You know, one of the crucial things is getting out of the water first, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, because the fast swimmers are tend to be the fast bikers as well, and as you say, it's helping each other out, but at times it doesn't really work like that, and people set up and people say they're tired, and there's a lot of sort of faking and stuff comes into it as well, so a lot of bluffing.
You're well known for your running and the speed of it. Now, you were pipped at the post by Art McManus in the duathlon a few weeks back. How do you think you'll do tonight? Will you be on the podium?
I don't know, that's the aim anyway, so just see how it goes. It depends who's here and how the race pans out as well and how I feel, and hopefully I get the transitions a bit better this time as well.
Yeah, so you find your shoes this time?
Yeah, at least our transition's a lot smaller than this one. It's huge in here.
Yeah.
So it should be okay in that respect.
Excellent. Well, Brand, the very best of luck. We'll be rooting for you.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thanks a lot. As you can see, some of the swimmers, the weaker swimmers, have decided to call it a day. The current out there is very strong. It's probably a sensible decision, and hopefully they'll come back next year after some more training and complete the swim course.
You know, I'm a bloke. You always have to find something, you know. And then you get to my age, 36, and it's either do a triathlon or buy a Porsche. I can't afford a Porsche at the moment. You know what I mean? It's a mini midlife crisis, to be honest with you. 3 weeks ago, we had our third baby.
Oh.
So my training has been kind of nappies and been vomited on.
Yeah.
So I've done nothing for 3 weeks. So I think it could be quite tough today. But
well, looking out at the first wave now, I mean, it looks quite hairy. What did you think about your own situation?
They're very big waves, a lot of people, so it'll be a real bun fight now at the start. It'll be a lot of that. Elbow. So I think I'll stay nice and wide, stay right. The current looks pretty strong down the middle, so I might try and sneak a little side route up there. But yeah, it looks tough enough now. It looks tough enough.
What's your strength? Is it swim, bike, or run?
I don't really have one.
You don't have one?
I'm very good at taking off the wetsuit. Run probably. I'm an okay runner, so I'll run a sub 40 10k probably. But my bike is rubbish.
Yeah.
And my swim, it depends who kicks me in the head. If it's a big guy or a little guy in that bun fight. But I don't know. You know something? It's weird because I'm here with the Wicklow Triathlon Club, and there's a great buzz.
Yeah.
And the atmosphere. The minute you come in, you do feel like you're in a big sporting occasion. Instead, I've run marathons around the world, and
you're alone.
You know, being at big sports events, and alone has that buzz. You come here and you go, that's exciting. So yeah, it's about being part of it. But I want to put in a good time. It's not going to happen. I haven't shaved down properly either. I haven't shaved yet. So
the hair will probably slow you down.
Hair is definitely going to slow me down. I'll be using it as an excuse anyway, that's for sure. Yeah.
You're getting the excuses in early.
Absolutely, yeah. I haven't slept in 3 weeks.
Well, Craig, thanks very much for taking the time
Cheers,
to talk to us, and the very best of luck.
Thanks very much.
You can see here that some of the top swimmers from the second wave have caught the weaker swimmers from the first wave. Obviously the current has taken its toll. Now they're quite unsteady as they come out of the water. You can see they're being helped by one of the marshals. Now this is quite normal in triathlon, but today the strength of the current has really taken a lot out, especially the first wave. But as they run over to transition and pick up their bikes, they'll find their legs and they'll steady up and they'll have a great race. It looks quite chaotic, but this has been designed and organised to a great level of precision. To make it easier for the athletes, all of the bike racks are numbered. The routes in and out are clearly marked, and there are marshals to direct the athletes in and out of transition. In fact, during today, there will be over 6,000 movements in and out of transition. And looking at it here now, it looks like it's working very well. Now, earlier on I spoke to Rob Cummins of Wheelworks Cycles, and he explained to me more about the technology. I'm here with Rob Cummins of Wheelworks, who's one of the sponsors of TriAthlone. This is a very strange wheel. I've seen these in the Tour de France, but I haven't seen them used in triathlon yet. Tell me a bit more about it.
It's called a disc wheel, and it's more aerodynamic than your standard spoke wheels like you'd have on a regular bike. It basically makes you go quicker. It'll slice through the wind quicker, as will the aerodynamic frame and the carbon front wheel as well. The disc is carbon and the braking surface then is aluminium.
Now this chain set again looks a bit more complicated than the ones I would have been used to.
Yeah.
Is there something in behind this?
Yeah, that's got a power meter built in, and it'll measure how much power the rider's producing, and you can download that onto a computer.
How do you use these bars?
The tri bars, you lie down on them when you're sitting on the bike. Your gear shifters are on the end. You change gear with the levers at the end, and then your brakes are out here. So when you're down in this tuck position, you're a lot more aerodynamic. You slice through the wind a lot quicker. And in triathlon, unlike cycling, where in cycling you're riding in a group, So the group effectively breaks the wind for you. In triathlon, you're not allowed to ride in a group. You've got to ride on your own. So the biggest thing you're fighting is the wind resistance. So you want to be as aerodynamic as possible. So you've got aerodynamic wheels, aerodynamic frames. You've got the frames hugging the wheel to clean the air as it comes over the back of the bike. You've even got aerodynamic helmets.
Now, would this one suit me, do you think?
You could certainly get one in your size.
I'm not sure if going to work with this on would really, it might impress the birds, as I say. But do you think it's me?
I reckon that suits you. Yeah, that's very good.
Now, what's the purpose of this thing?
Again, it's all down to aerodynamics. It's just to smooth the airflow over your head, and it smooths it off your back, and it'll make you quicker.
Now, Rob, this doesn't come cheap. This whole ensemble.
This one here will cost around about €6,000 with the carbon frame, the fork upgrade, the handlebar upgrade, the wheels. But you can start off a lot cheaper than that. You can start with a basic triathlon bike from around about €1,600 or €1,700, or a basic racing bike from around about €400.
Now, €400 sounds more attractive to somebody who's actually starting out in triathlon. I mean, how do people get into the sport?
The best thing you can do is get into a club locally. You get great motivation knowing that there's people waiting for you to go training. It'll get you out of bed on a Sunday morning. But the club structure, it's very, very strong in Ireland, and it's a good way of getting into it.
What's going to win tomorrow? Is it the swim, the bike, or the run? I know in the elite race there's a thing called drafting.
Yeah.
So the cyclists can ride together. What's going to make the difference?
On the elite race, the top guys will need to be able to get out of the water together so they can get into a drafting group on the bike. They'll ride together as a peloton on the bike, and whoever can run fastest off the bike is going to win that one. In the age group race, it's not as cut and dried. You're going to have to go well in all three to be able to win it. It's very much, the sport is evolving over the last 2 years, and we're seeing guys now that are able to do all three well. Last year we would have seen guys that were incredibly strong at one being able to win races. This year you've got to be strong at all three.
It's rough.
Over 200 people are actually working here today just to make the event happen, and that doesn't include the 1,400 competitors. Now, as you may know, Athlone has been chosen to run the 2010 European Championships. Now, the impact of this is, in Lausanne last year, European Championships attracted 60,000 visitors to Lausanne. Now, 60,000 visitors to Athlone is one hell of a kick to the tourism around this area.
Yes!
So it's the fastest growing sport in Ireland, and you're going to see more and more events and more councils, more and more chambers of commerce, more and more tourism organisations getting on board to help this sport grow, because it really can make a difference to towns such as Athlone. Now there's lots of excitement behind me as all the runners are running the 3 laps and then they run up to the finish. But what you may not have noticed is that each one has a black ankle band. That black ankle band is actually a timing chip. Now the timing chip, because each of the participants starts in a different wave, they don't know their time until they're actually finished. So it's up to 40 minutes or an hour after the event is finished when the timing is electronically worked out, and each person can only then find out whether they've actually won the race or won their age group. And that's going to be announced tonight in the Prince of Wales Hotel in Athlone.
Come on guys, well done.
How'd you find it?
Once the swim was over, it was easier than I thought, but the swim, I defy anyone who says I didn't swim 2 miles up that river with that current.
I could believe it, actually. It was a tough swim, wasn't it?
Bit of fun for a Saturday afternoon.
How'd you find it?
I enjoyed it. It's my first one, but the swim was very hard.
Did you drink much of the water?
No, I didn't really. I left a bit for the rest of them.
Yeah, I got as far as the end of the marina.
Yeah.
And we were up the front, and then he said everybody out of the water.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Ah, well. So, but you did the run and you did the bike?
Yeah, finished the rest.
Ah, okay.
Well, quit, never quit.
Exactly.
Under the bridge was very tough. Obviously, everyone packed into it, the current's stronger, and I felt like I was under it for about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It was really tough. I couldn't believe my time when I came out. I was like really slow swims. I'd say I was about 6 minutes slower than my normal swim. And the run is lovely because it's through the town and you can really pace it, and the support was great. And the bike was fine, except of course the minute we were out in the bike, rain, wind.
Yeah.
But nice, really nice race.
Last night, Fergus Ryan caught up with Gavin Noble. Gavin is one of Ireland's top professional triathletes and the favourite to win this race today. He won it last year with some ease. So let's go and see what Gavin had to say for himself and how he feels he'll go tonight.
Gavin Noble, welcome to Athlone. Favourite for tomorrow's race, how do you feel?
Well, first of all, I'm excited to be back in Athlone. I was here last year and Irish champs again, so I'm here to do a job, and yeah, I guess I'm looking forward to it.
As you say, you won last year. Have you many rivals here from last year, or who do you see as giving you the hardest time tomorrow?
Last year was a bit of a different race. Last year I was by myself for the whole way, in fact. But tomorrow, there's a few guys who've improved, especially in the swim. I'm in my head when I think about the race. I'm thinking about John O'Grady, who's a new Irish guy who was a former Australian and he swims pretty good, and there's a young guy, David Green from Ulster, who's also a good swimmer. So I'm sort of thinking maybe there's going to be 2 or 3 guys who'll be with me this time in the swim. It's just it depends if they can hang on in transition.
Out of all the 3 disciplines, where do you see your strength as being?
I guess it's different when you come back and race in Ireland, because when you race internationally, you have to be strong in all 3, and that's what I've tried to do over the summer. I've tried to be a swimmer, a cyclist, and a runner. And a lot of people in Ireland just see me as a good swimmer, I'm afraid, and they don't really reckon that my bike can run and strong. So tomorrow I'm going to prove that I'm hoping to show people that my biking and run is still pretty good. So I can see myself coming off in the lead group as a minimum, and then I think, if I'm off in the league group, then I should be favoured to win.
Normally when you race in Ireland, they're non-draft legal races, meaning that on the bike you have to sit a certain distance behind. Tomorrow it's different, you're racing in a bunch.
Yeah.
Would you do any cycle racing as part of your preparation for that? Or is it just basically racing on the international triathlon scene that it brings tactics into play that you may not use before?
Yeah, definitely. Internationally, if you don't swim good, that's it, it's over. And definitely I think tomorrow in Ireland again, because it's an elite race, I think you'd see that those guys who don't swim who don't swim good, they're going to find it hard to catch up. I'm definitely not thinking about slowing down when I get on the bike. I'm thinking about working hard and maintaining, if not increasing, the gap. I've got a lot of races this year, and if I can win, if I can get off the bike with a minute lead, it means I can run a minute slower. So I'm not really thinking about the fastest swim, the fastest bike, or the fastest run. I'm just thinking about winning, and if I win by 1 second, I've come home and then it's job done.
Just tell us, if you would, like the life of a pro athlete. This is obviously part of your preparation for some larger goals, maybe during the year. How much are you training per week?
Well, training obviously differs from where I'm at in the year and what I want to do. Winter time, obviously, there's long hours and just sleeping and training. But when it comes to race season, I'm racing particularly much this year because of the international races, and I'm having to do a lot of travelling, and I guess sometimes it can be a little bit lonely, but you got to accept that fact of life.
Is it a very long season in triathlon? Is it all year round, or you're specifically targeting certain events?
Yeah, I guess so. Internationally, the race follows the sun. It follows the sun around the world. So it starts in the summertime in Australia in January, February. I was out there in Noosa for 2 months. Went on to Japan, came back to Europe, and we'll stay the European season when it's summertime over here. And then when summer ends, we go back to Australia when the summer starts. So it's definitely a summer sport. I guess it has to be summer because we're all running around with not much clothes on. But yeah, it's a summer sport, and for me, a full-time job, and it's a way of life now. It's travelling, racing, seeing the world.
Here's Gavin Noble. Gavin is the favourite for the race. We met Gavin earlier on. He's racing on the international scene. We then have Éanna McGrath. Éanna is a well-known Irish triathlete, has been racing elite for some years now, and he trains full-time in the UK. Brian Campbell, who's a multiple Irish champion. Brian we spoke to earlier on in transition as well. A very modest type of triathlete, but God, can he run. John O'Grady, an Australian newcomer to the Irish scene, but he is actually just declared for Ireland. Brian Jenkins of Limerick Triathlon, again at university in the UK and raced in the UK, getting plenty of experience over there. Junior Heffernan, 17-year-old up-and-coming triathlon star. Now, as you notice, it's getting late in the evening, the sun is low, and one of the key things is being able to sight. Tonight, with the sun in their face, that's going to be particularly difficult, and I suspect they're going to have some problems. You may notice that some of the swimmers have taken a sensible option and have tucked in behind someone in front of them. Now this is for protection against the strong current that's on the Shannon today. But I suspect that actually as soon as they turn and come back with the current, it's going to be every man for himself, and it's going to be a real sprint to the finish. It's probably about 8 minutes, 8 to 9 minutes. There are two together. It'll be interesting to see who they are. We're watching, they're flying down here, swimming with the current. And we've got a third one just in behind. Absolutely incredible swimming. Let's see who they are. There's a group, there's three in front, two behind.
That looks like Gavin Noble in the front.
It does look, it looks like Gavin. Let's see who it is. I think it's Gavin. Yes, it's Gavin Noble out first. Gavin Noble out first. They're slipping. There's one of the UK elites. Very slippy down there by the looks of it. Now these guys are going to make up the first bunch of cyclists on the road. It just shows you the huge difference between the elite athletes and the classic athletes. They're coming in now. They need to be very careful, very slippy down there. The canoeists and the marshals are there to help them getting into the water themselves. It's very, very slippy. Now, this is Tim Downing from 3D Triathlon. Very slippy down there. Tim, an excellent swimmer from Trinity College. There's Brian Campbell from Northern Ireland.
Coming back from injury.
Colin Bolger from Pulse Triathlon. Only 8 seconds separated the first 5 swimmers out of the water. Gavin Noble already has his wetsuit off. He's running down to the mount line with his bike. He's on his own, and this is a crucial point in this race. It looks like Gavin is setting himself up for a repeat of last year's performance. There's Brian Campbell heading down, Colin Bolger, and they're all heading out. And this has been a big mistake by those guys that come out with Gavin. Well done. Another guy out. It's another man from Belt Park Triathlon Club. At this stage we have 3 groups on the road. Gavin, who's out on his own, 2 young lads who are not so far behind, and then we have the main bunch headed up by Brian Campbell. Mark Risley, you were in the water with the elites. What did you think?
Yeah, it was pretty tough out there. It was swim was very tough. It's a lot of guys swimming really hard, trying to get together in a pack. So once you settle down in your pack, then that's pretty much a group. Then
we're just seeing Paul Wilson here, who was obviously on his own. He's in transition at this stage. You can see where he puts the helmet on first and then jumps on the bike, getting a great cheer from the crowd. His brother Matt Wilson is turning professional this year. And Matt has been pulled up, and I think would that be because he's been lapped officially?
Been lapped on the course now, so it's considered dangerous for the top riders to come through and be taking a much slower rider out. So standard ITU rules: once somebody gets lapped, that's unfortunately their day. It's tough, but
that's
there you go.
Yeah. And that's in the elite races. I mean, the rules have to be applied absolutely firmly. There are no exceptions.
I mean, these guys are cycling and running too fast. It's too dangerous.
Yeah.
And even have to be spot on.
Yeah. Even just looking at the speed of the swim, the speed of the bikes, it's just phenomenal, isn't it?
It's a different class, and it's great to see these international athletes over here.
Yeah.
And I think it gives the top amateurs in Ireland a real benchmark as to what they're up against if they're to go abroad.
That's one of the problems that we in Ireland actually have. It's one of the problems we have, that our riders who are sort of big fish in a small pool in Ireland, and they go abroad, and they really don't do so well.
It's a different standard. I raced internationally last year, and it's just simply a different world. And these guys can swim well, they can cycle well, they can run well, and I say that's the standard. And if you want to improve, that's what you're up against.
And what about support? I mean, in Ireland now, you know yourself that trying to get the money together to turn professional is extremely difficult. I mean, is it any different in other countries?
No, I don't think so. I think it's. I think the difference in maybe France and Germany is the standard at an amateur level is already very high, and maybe the leap from the top amateurs to the pros isn't necessarily as big. And you've got guys who are training hard at an amateur level, but if you want to make it in the pro circuit, it's a few hard years before anything comes together.
Yeah. I see you got the camera attached to your...
Yeah, I wore the camera in the swim. I'll be using that as an excuse later as to why I was so slow.
That's great, Mark. Thanks a lot. And the riders are coming back round again. Here is the leader coming through. You can see the police motorbike ahead of them. Two lead cars. Is it a single rider or is it a group? It's this. Yes, Gavin is still on his own. And you can see now that the other riders are starting to close. Or is that a rider that he's lapped? We'll see shortly. Okay, another rider has been lapped, so he's going to be pulled in. That large sponge being led by Brian Campbell is going to eat up the two riders in front. There's Brian Campbell, Éanna McGrath, Tim Downing.
Good. 20 seconds.
Our correspondents on the road have told us that groups are starting to form on the bike and they're going to close in on Gavin. Now it'll be interesting to see actually what happens when he comes round this corner and we see if he's still in the lead on his own or if there's a group behind him. Gavin is a great runner, but there are other great runners in the bunches as well. Yes, it's Gavin Noble. Gavin, and we'll see how far ahead he is. Looking very comfortable on the run as normal. He's a fantastic runner. So we'll see how long do we have to the next runners coming around the corner. Junior Heffernan, it sounds like Junior Heffernan, and he's nearly a minute behind. There he goes. Now, it's a group of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 runners. Any of them could win this race. Brian Campbell is an excellent runner as well from Northern Ireland. Gavin Noble coming into the park, and there's absolutely no one in sight. He's going to have to come in here and complete 3 laps before he heads into the finish. And here comes Brian Campbell. He's broken away from the group he was with. Gavin coming into the turn for the second time. He's passing some back markers. And here's Brian Campbell. He has made a gallant effort. He's made up about 10 seconds on Gavin. And this looks like one of the English challengers is making a go for 3rd place. Well done, Brian. Keep it going.
On Tim.
Gavin looking very comfortable coming in for his last turn. So here's Brian Campbell again. He's secured 2nd place. He's well ahead of the bunch, but can he close any more? Is it still Gavin? I think it is. He's getting a round of applause. Yes, it is. Gavin Noble is the winner of the TriAthlone Elite race in 2007. Well done, Gavin. You had a fairly easy win last year, Gavin. What was it like this year?
You know, I don't know. I thought it was going to be a little bit tougher this year. But you know what? I guess the guys have improved, but then again, so have I. So, you know, the gap's still the same, and I'm still happy with that.
Yeah.
I went out hard in the swim. Some of us went a bit wrong, but you know, on the bike I was fairly solid, nothing too hard, and I had a minute cushion on the run. So you know, if I win by a second, I win. So the run was good and the run was easy. I've got a race next week, so I look to that now.
Yeah. I saw Brian Campbell actually breaking away, and he was chasing you. But you weren't under any pressure at all at any stage in the race.
Well, you know, Brian's an excellent runner, you know, and you know, definitely one of the best runners out there. So, you know, I felt coming into the race that if I got off with a group of runners, I was strong enough to win the race from the run. You know, I think I'm strong enough to win the race from the swim on the bike. You know, but yeah, definitely Brian. If I get a cushion him, it just makes my life a little bit easier.
Yeah, Brian, I've just had a word with Gavin, and it looks like another easy victory for him this year. But you were the only guy that looked as if you had a challenge in you.
There's far too much to do getting into that run, though. It was,
had a disaster of a swim, but then having said that, I could have swum 20, 30 seconds quicker and I still would have been in the same bike group anyway, because Galvin was different league in the swim, and I mean the best athlete won. He was cycling by himself, so he was obviously more tired than me getting into the run, so that's why I was able to put a bit of time into him, but he's probably cruising anyway, having said that.
Yeah, I came third.
Yeah, what's your name?
James Locke.
James.
Yeah.
A fantastic performance.
I was a little bit confused. I actually wasn't sure where I was in the race.
Yeah.
But it turns out a kind of pack of about 7-8 of us came into transition together, obviously just with Gavin out in front. So it turned out it was almost a fight for second and third, which I didn't really realise until almost across the line. So to pick up third, very happy.
Yeah. And did you come over especially for this?
I did, yeah. I've been at Loughborough University the last few years, and now I'm on that kind of stepping stone whether to go full-time into sport or carry on my business.
And what do you think of the competition here in Ireland?
Good, yeah, it's good. Great location, I must say. It's a good course.
You enjoyed the race?
Yeah, I think I'll be a lot more prepared next year.
So you'll be back next year?
Yeah, I look forward to coming back next year. I'll program it in, make sure I'm there especially.
And what about 2010, the Europeans? Do you think you'll be here?
I think I might be here actually. Yeah, I've got a feeling if I do carry on this route, and very early stages for me in the sport, but I think once it gets going and I really get all the miles and on the bike and get running, I should be here and looking for a podium finish.
Excellent. Well, congratulations again.
Thanks a lot.
Fantastic performance.
Thank you very much.
Well, as the night draws in, we're winding up another triathlon. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did, and we'll see you again in 2008, or indeed at 2010 at the European Championships.